and I actually used some people's models on the PowerPoint, so you might see yours. Don't worry, they're cool. Yeah, so the first thing I just want to kind of go over would just be the refresher. So, now that we kind of have the models created, I just want you guys to know that there are multiple ways to create clay models. So some people did like vases, some people did like cups, some people did like boxes, which is really cool. And others, it is possible to literally add on to your stuff. So if at some point you want to go back into clay and you want to make maybe like, I don't know, like a portrait of like someone or like your face or something, you could always literally add like cool stuff to it and make it into like a really big thing, because people like sell these, like you could actually make money with this if you ever decide to really get into it. So. Cool. So from these examples, I picked these slab methods. So which involves rolling out the clay to like even thickness and then just kind of cutting it into like different shapes. I picked the ones that I thought were like really interesting. The one at the bottom is just kind of like literally just like rolled out, but they added like designs to it. Like that's just so cool. And the other two, I think it's like a lemon tree, and it's like a cake. So you just kind of like want to think that there's going to be like different methods that you can use. One of them being the slab method. Another one is the coil method, which is literally you just kind of getting like the coils and kind of just like going around it. It's usually used for like cups, pots, and vases. Which is also really awesome. And there's also the pinch method. So it's basically just kind of putting your thumb and just kind of like making like a circular motion behind it. There's a really cool one where there's like a rose, I think, like added onto it. And there's also like a fish. Any questions so far about these three? Like, which ones did y'all use?
I was a pinch.
The pinch. Who used the coil method? Like literally just rolling it out and then just kind of like putting it on top of each other. It's okay if you do not remember. Just trying to make sure that you don't do. And there's also the slab method. So y'all do?
I think that it's slab. I don't really remember that. Pretty sure it's
Slab, okay. It's okay. I know it's kind of weird like talking during like a presentation. Like just don't think of it as like me like awkward. Yeah, like don't make it awkward. It's as awkward as you make it. Anyways, so the other ones is the learned stages. So some of you guys were kind of just like putting the clay together and not really thinking about exactly how it's gonna stick. So the water and the clay is basically like your glue, right? So you basically just kind of dip it in the water and then you slap it on it. The other ones is just gonna be kind of like, I think like when I was going around showing y'all my version of it. I think it's over here somewhere. Like the bone dry. Obviously it's more dry now, but it's just like you kind of want to think about the different stages of you being able to add on to your projects. So obviously once you're done putting it in the fire, you can't really add on to it anymore except glaze. And then like the leather hard stage is basically when you put it like in a bag and like the next day it's like kind of like leathery, like you can still kind of like tear it apart, but it's not as slippery as it was. And this is just kind of just going over in case you guys just don't know, but what happens in the kiln, basically it's called a bisque fire, which is usually after you have gotten your pieces, it kind of turns gray, right? So like I said, you can't really like manipulate it anymore. And then you're able to kind of start glazing and adding more to it. And that's what we're going to talk about, which is the types of glaze. So with the next steps of glazing, you kind of want to think about like how you want to paint it, right? For me personally, I don't think it's a good idea to add just like a one-dimension color. Like you kind of want to make it, you know, pop out, right? And if you do want to add just like one color, that's okay. Just make sure that it's in like a appropriate space, which I'll show you in a second. I'm not sure which one that we have yet. Is this matted or is this glossy? Miss Brandy?
Gloss.
Gloss? Okay, awesome. So there are two different types of gloss that we're gonna have. Sorry, glaze. One is of course glossy. The other one is matted. Basically, the ones that we have right now are gonna be like super shiny. So whenever you're painting, you kind of want to think about like where you want to put it. So unless like you want like your whole entire pot just to be super glossy, that's fine. But you could also add the gloss to like maybe like parts of, you know, like an eye or like wings, you know, or like whatever you want to do. That part will like specifically be glossy, and if you add like the matted part behind it, it'll be kind of like static. So just kind of think about like what you want to do whenever you do go to your project. Oh, also these are food safe. I just want you guys to know. You are able to eat out of them, so don't freak out. And as I said, as like a plot twist, you can add to different types or different spots. And then this is just kind of like what we're doing right now. So the underglaze is just basically kind of like your first layer, and then the clear glaze is making sure that it's like gonna like keep that that clear coat. And there are like different methods to apply the glaze. One is pouring. So I'm not sure how many times you guys are going to be firing. Like it's just once. Okay. So what you can do is you can add maybe like a base coat to like whatever you want, and then add like another glaze later. Or you could also mix it, which I'm like a really big fan of. Yeah, so like I said, if I were you, I would just get like a palette and then just kind of like start like mixing like your colors and trying to see like what you want to do to make it like really stand out. Any questions about anything? I'm sorry that y'all had to go through that, but I just want to make sure that you guys know like what you're doing, because yeah. Anything about anything? Do y'all have any questions about like what colors that you can use? Do y'all want to mix colors? Do y'all want to just kind of keep like the same color? Because I already have like 3 different colors, so I'm kind of ready. No? Okay, cool. Alright. So now that we kind of went through the PowerPoint, let's go ahead and alright, so as you can see, I kind of have like my guy, right? Focus. There we go. So, what I was talking about, like adding like certain glazes on certain spots. So for me personally, I think I'm probably gonna add some gloss to maybe like the eye right here, and then maybe like the teeth, because it'll kind of like pop out, and then maybe like the hair right here. The cool thing about glazes is that there's different types of glazes. So, and like those different types of glazes add like different kinds of effects. So there's this thing called the burnished steel, tidal pool, and then rust red. So I recommend having different sizes of brushes. Like don't just have like one blob like on the brush and then just start going at it. Like you kind of want to be careful about it. Okay, I actually didn't even put the gloss on it yet for the colors. So you see how dark it is? This is supposed to be red, right? The reason why it's like that is because it's going to change after it goes to the fire. And if not, I mean, good times, right? There you go. So I'm just going to So, yeah, obviously it's like a black eye right now, but it's going to be red later. I'm just going to kind of show y'all the, let's see, what would happen if I were to mix it. So, let's see. I have burnished steel. I feel like I'm doing like a TikTok right now, like I'm on live. Alright, so yeah, so it looks really dark, right? So let's just see what happens if I mix both colors. If it just stays the same, that's all right. It's gonna look different after I, like I said, fire it up. And if you like, if you start painting and then just like some of the paint kind of gets on the side, and like you just really are like not about it, you can always get like a paper towel and just kind of like go in there and try to like wipe it off. So yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. And like one of the things that I highly recommend not doing is do not paint on at the bottom. If you paint at the bottom, it's going to literally just like stick to the kiln. And we're gonna basically have to break it because it'll be so melted that we cannot take it off the kiln. So make sure that there is absolutely no paint at all at the bottom. Just keep it the way it is. And if you see any paint, try to like brush it off. And you can also paint inside the like the inside too. I recommend like a different color, or unless you just want to kind of keep, you know, whatever theme you have going on. And yeah, I mean that's basically about it. Just wanted to show you guys that. Any questions on that? Like, obviously I just painted, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys kind of know. What's up?
How many layers should you paint? Like,
Yeah, sorry about that. So you're gonna have whenever you start painting, you want to have like the general like one layer at first, but the more layers that you add, the more dense the color is gonna be. So if I were to kind of like start painting like this, right, and if I only add like one layer to the hair, it's gonna be kind of like a very like light color. But if I have the one layer and then I go over like certain parts of the hair with like 5 layers, it's gonna add more of like a effect behind it because I'm adding more layers to it. So generally, this community wants you to have like 3 layers, and that's okay. I think it'd be really cool if you added different layers to different spots because it'll really pop out. So yeah, that's about it. Any questions? That's it. Oh, I'm sorry.
How light do the colors get?
How light do the colors get? So some colors that you get on the from the box, it'll be really obviously light. The ones that I personally used are just really dark, just because I kind of want this to be like a dark, rustic kind of tone. But it'll show after you end up, like say if you painted it like today, you painted the whole thing, probably by like the next day, it'll kind of show like its true color a little bit more. So right now it's obviously super fresh off the bottles.
And what I'll do, guys, I'll go in and I will get the examples of what those fired colors look like, and I'll put them on the playlist. So you'll be able to, when you see rust red, I'll have a picture of what that will look like once it's fired, so that you can make that decision. Do I want to use that one, or do I want to use the regular red? Or combine them. Layering with these paints is a lot like layering with the colored pencils. You're going to get those nice color variations that you want. So it's not like you put one layer down and the next one completely covers it. Once it's fired, it melts and they kind of go together, so you have these nice little color variations in there. All right, but it'll help you to have that color chart, and that will be on the playlist for you.
Yeah, and just like from my own personal experience, it's really cool when you add like different colors at like random spots that you know that'll kind of like change like the whole theme. Because sometimes like the color will kind of go into like one spot like unintentionally, but it'll really like make it like just stand out like in a different way. So just be like creative about it, you know, just be open to change, and it's gonna be really awesome. Because ceramics is like one of the coolest things that you could do in art class.